Hardcore with Michael Schroeck. Hopefully this will be the first podcast of many, but today we're going to be starting with the topic of working out and the mental benefits that you get from it. Today I'm joined by my guest, Kaydn Ford.
How's it going, guys?
Kaydn and I actually met about 3 or 4 years ago through our personal trainer, Justin Gosselin, and since then we've been working out. We actually play on the same football team, so either that was in summer workouts in the season or off season, with the team, without the team. We were always kind of doing workouts together, and we kind of have a decent background, I would say, with working out, both the physical but also the mental side of it. And we only have 10 minutes, so I say we just jump right into it. The first question being, what mental benefits do you get from working out? I don't know, I'll start. I would say the biggest mental benefit you get is that you can just do it whenever you want. You get a bad grade on the test, you can go work out. You had something just bad that happened throughout the day, you can actually just go and take a 30-minute walk, even if it is. And it just makes you feel so much better. You release those endorphins, you just get that. I mean, a lot of people say like the runner's high. If you go on a run, it feels great. I would also say that's the same with lifting. You go in there and you do something that's really challenging for 30, 45, an hour, and you come out just feeling so much better, like you can conquer the day. I would say that's probably the biggest mental benefit that I get from working out.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Whether it's like a good day or a bad day, it's something that I do every day. And it's honestly a highlight of most of my days. I love just going in there and just bettering myself. But I know that if I had a good day, if I had a bad day, let's say I just failed a test, I go and I'm not really feeling great. I know that at the end of my, hour and a half workout, I'm going to walk out of that gym feeling a lot better than I did when I walked in. And so that's something that I really just mentally get from the gym, beyond just of course, the endorphin release and that side of it. But it's just that bit of consistency just makes me feel more comfortable throughout my day.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and people always think maybe weight training, working out is just going in there for 45 minutes, pumping a bunch of iron, but it's really you can just go on a 30-minute walk early in the morning, and that will make you feel so much better throughout the day. Just that little bit of exercise, getting out in the fresh air, it's just an excuse to start moving, and that will really help you throughout the rest of the day. So now let's go on to question number 2.
Sounds good.
How do you suggest people stay mentally resilient when the progress starts feeling slow?
So one of the things that I personally have had, and both of us have had since right off the bat with our trainer, was we had a Google spreadsheet. And what that spreadsheet did was it documented all of our lifts, every single day, every single workout. Every pound that I lifted was tracked down. And what that did was it showed progress. So I could go back, let's say on a day where I'm not really feeling too great, I just had a pretty bad lift. Progress has been slowly just coming to a halt. I can go back, let's say 3-4 months, and I can look at the lifts that I was doing now and look at all of the progress that I've made. And that personally helps me stay really committed, because it's not just about the short-term progress. You don't really see much in the short term. But then when you really look back on it and see oh wow, I was lifting 30, 40 pounds lighter than I am now, it really gives you that motivation to keep going when times are rough.
Yeah, I mean, we have the benefit of having a strength trainer, but it's really, you can get a bunch of free programs online, and just having a program to work out with, just to every single day be hey, I have to go do this, this, and this, or else I'm just going to fall a day behind on my program. It's something like that really helps me, in my opinion, just keep working out. I mean, to this day, I don't work out with a trainer anymore. I keep a book, just every single workout I do, every single set, because first of all, it's nice to know what I was doing last week to this week, but it feels good when you're writing down in that book, hey, I worked out today for 45 minutes. I did 4 sets of this, 4 sets of that, and something like that, it was awesome. Say.
Yeah, and I would highly suggest either getting a notebook or something along those lines. Once I stopped working with my trainer, and I kind of just slacked a little bit on my Google Sheets, but having that physical notebook to where I just write down, it's kind of just become muscle memory now. After I finish the set, to just grab my notebook and write it down. And I think that it can be really beneficial to a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, another thing I'd like to touch on is I started working out probably when I was freshman year of high school. And I was a 135-pound kid. It was hard for me to get in the gym, but I got in there, and that first 6 months was really challenging, But then after that, the first year I gained another 15, and then it's But at some point, that progress goes from boom to just starts leveling out. And something like that, it gets really hard. You're like, am I doing something wrong? Am I, what happens where I'm not getting this much progress anymore? And you just have to understand that's how your body works. You're not, I don't know the science enough of it, but it's just not, you're gonna go from this to here, and you just have to understand that if you keep going, you'll slowly get better and better, one day at a time, I would say.
I completely agree.
Yeah, and then, so I guess question number 3 is, what's one piece of advice you would give to someone struggling to feel good enough about their fitness or mental health journey?
The biggest piece of advice I would give is to just stick with it. Most people, when they start the gym, I forget what the exact statistic is, but most people quit on their first week to first month. And honestly, it's probably the hardest part. You go in there, let's say you've never picked up a weight, you're not really lifting as much as other people, and you see some of these commercial gyms have massive people, people taking steroids, people competing at weightlifting events, people in sports. It's a little intimidating, but I think that if you really just go in there and you stay consistent, and that's one of the reasons why I loved having Mitch as a lifting partner, is because he helped to keep me accountable and motivate me. So obviously there's days where I don't want to lift, I have a bunch going on, or a bunch of schoolwork, and he was always there to kind of just help keep me in check and keep me motivated to keep going to the gym. So I think that having a lifting partner is really really beneficial, but also that you're not always going to see progress in terms of struggling to feel good enough. There's days nobody feels good enough every single day. It's always a balance of highs and lows, but as long as you just stay consistent, then you'll eventually get there.
Yeah, there's so many days where I'd rather just sit in my bed, I'd rather sit on the couch, I'd rather do something else but work out. But I know if I even just go on a walk, I'll keep going back to a walk, run, even if I'm doing something small, a physical activity just makes you feel so much better in that moment. And then I would also say, if you're not feeling good enough, you can't judge yourself with how other people are looking. Everybody's at a different part of their life. Everybody had that first day in that gym. And it wasn't easy that first day. I would ask anybody, everybody has that same feeling and struggle of feeling good enough in the gym, honestly. And you just can't judge and really think about other people. You just kind of have to focus on yourself, That's why it's good just keeping track of your workouts, just knowing that you are in the gym every single day, and it's gonna get easier every single day. And some days it might get harder, but the next day I'm telling you it'll get easier because you just went through that mental struggle of having to go there.
Yeah, and in terms of mental health, it also builds mental fortitude, having those days where you go in and you're not feeling as great, but you still go. That helps to build a mental fortitude, which is really beneficial to your mental health in the long term.
Oh, absolutely. And so question 4 is kind of it's kind of important, but what do you think is important about having a workout partner when you start working out, or even still at this point?
Yeah, I know we touched on it a lot before, but having a workout partner really just makes the gym more enjoyable. You're not just sitting there on your phone in between sets or just whatever. You're just you're messing around, having fun with your friend, and it's just fun. It's good fun. Besides just keeping you accountable and pushing you, it's really just fun and uplifting, having someone else there with you that's also going through the same thing that you're going through, and that you can just kind of connect with and just have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And our facility's great here. You go there at Tampa and you start working out. It's awesome. You make so many new friends, and they will keep you wanting to come the next day. You're like, hey, what time are you gonna work out tomorrow? Let's have a good workout. Let's just go in there and talk. You can almost use it as get a few sets in, but also just socialize, talk, network. It's an awesome thing just to kind of keep doing. So now we just want to get into this infographic that I have here, which will pop up somewhere on this. But I would like to really talk about this because it really shows the great, kind of benefits of working out. It'll boost your immune system. I would say multiple times I used to be sick a lot. Once I started working out, really went down. Really, I started, even when I'm sick, even just going on a walk, again, I'll just keep going back. You only have to do a 30-minute walk, and something like that will make you feel a lot better. You're gonna start burning more calories. I mean, I personally started really skinny. I wanted to gain weight, but I've had those points where I've gotten to where I went too far in that bulk and I had to lose weight. It's like, just started running. I guess started getting that runner's high. It was awesome. And you'll work out longer and harder when you start working out with outdoors, but also inside. I mean, every single time you do that, it's just harder and harder, but it also gets easier and easier. Yeah. If that makes sense, you know? You just kind of get that grit almost. You get that stamina to keep going every single day. And yeah, it's saying right here, you release more feel-good endorphins. Those endorphins are something that people will chase their whole life through alcohol, through drugs, through so many different things, but you can just get that from working out.
And it's really important, like, especially nowadays, like, everyone's just sitting on TikTok, on Instagram Reels, and you're getting that rush of dopamine from not really doing anything. And I think that's like a big reason why we have so much like mental health issues and like depression issues, is because they're not working for their endorphins. When you're lifting, it's releasing endorphins, but you're working for something to release the endorphins. Absolutely. You're not just getting an instant dopamine rush or an instant endorphin release just from like sitting in your bed swiping.
Yeah, no, I'd have to agree with that. All right, well, it looks like we're already at 10 minutes. I really hope you guys enjoyed that. I know I enjoyed it. I really thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And I'd just like to say thank you, and hopefully you guys start working out or keep working out. And thank you.